We usually imagine prayer as a purely internal experience, a quiet, mental conversation that happens entirely within the privacy of our own minds. But the ancient text offers a different picture. In Exodus 33, when Moses speaks with the Creator face to face, the Hebrew word used is Dvar. It's the same word used for two friends talking on the street, not a religious term for a mental state. This is because ancient Hebrew is a concrete language. While modern Western languages often focus on abstract ideas and feelings, the vocabulary of the Bible is rooted in physical actions that you can see and do. Over time, our modern worldview has stripped the physical reality away from these words. We've turned an active, urgent process into something passive and purely psychological. If prayer isn't just thinking at the divine, then what physical movement does the ancient language actually require? The answer is hidden in the original pictographs of the Hebrew alphabet. These ancient shapes show us that to pray is to step into a very specific physical and social role. One of the primary words for prayer is Palal, from the root pl. Originally represented by a mouth and a staff, it literally means speaking to authority, a subject addressing the scepter of a ruler. The physical action of Palal is to fall to the ground in the presence of that authority to plead a cause. It's what the Sabians do in the book of Isaiah. They don't just speak, they physically drop to the earth to make their petition. In ancient Israel, this happened at the city gates. The gate was the local courthouse, where the community gathered to settle grievances. By using Palal, the text places the person praying in this judicial setting, waiting their turn to present a formal case for justice to the magistrate. If you take that same root for pleading and add the strength of an ox head, the letter aleph, you get the word pala. This is the word we usually translate as wonder or miracle. In this context, a miracle isn't a random event. It is a great work performed by the judge as a direct response to a petition. It is the enacted verdict that restores life to a situation where justice was missing. This physical posture is so central to the culture that even the word for bean comes from this root, simply because its curved, bent shape looks like a person bowed down in pleading. This reveals the ancient logic. Our physical pleading is what draws out a ruling from the bench, turning an injustice into a miraculous intervention. Another word, Paga, often translated as intercession, combines a mouth, a foot, and an eye with the root for an unripe fig. It describes physical impingement, attacking someone with persistent requests, continuously pressing a situation until it ripens and fulfills its intended role. We see the weight of this in Isaiah 59. The Creator was appalled because there was no one willing to impinge on him, no one willing to stand in the gap and persistently demand justice for the land. This ties into the root Sha'al, which means to draw out. When we ask, or Sha'al, for direction, we are physically trying to draw counsel and clarity out of the divine. Solomon used this to draw out the wisdom needed to rule, and the woman in the Gospels used it when she touched the shul, the hem of the robe, to physically draw out healing power. In the ancient mind, interceding for others isn't a polite suggestion. It is an aggressive, persistent action required to move a situation from its broken state into God's justice. The difficulty is that drawing out justice often takes time. In our culture, quickly means instant, but a judicial process moves at a different pace. The magistrate operates on a scale that considers the timing and the purposes for everyone involved. The verdict isn't delayed because of indifference, but because the timing of the intervention must be exact. We do see fast answers, like when 2 missing girls were found safe by the Gardaí hours after people began pleading for their safety. These moments remind us that the authority is listening and capable of moving fast. Whether the answer takes hours or years, the perspective of the text remains the same. The wait can feel long from our side, but the promise is an intervention that happens exactly when the requirements of justice are met. Prayer is not sending thoughts into an empty void. It is the act of stepping to the gates of authority, presenting a case, and working to draw the miraculous justice of the living God into our world.